And on today's nightmare-filled adventure, we are back at Nashville HorrorCon, this time in Lebanon, Tennessee. Now, while we're here, we got 2 autographs to get, but that's not the biggest thing. In this video, you see 2 people. Some have been in there a little bit, some have not. But today, we're going to introduce them to our world, because we also have a panel. It's Sunday at 3 o'clock. We at Scratch and Slash will have its very first panel with some special guests involved. So stay tuned to the end of the video, but we hope you enjoy what you see. So come along.
And we would really like to thank Nashville HorrorCon for this opportunity to be here and do the panel, and also my best friend Cherie and Jeremy's best friend Kayla for joining us.
All right, so come along and see what we see, and we hope you enjoy. I just want the character name and signature.
Okay.
And we actually have a special pin for it. Since this glows in the dark, this glows in the dark.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. You need to get one of those. That's neat.
Oh, I love
Do
it.
you want a quote or just character and signature?
Quote if you have one. And as young as you were playing Gage and even doing New Nightmare, what's the most memorable day on set you had as a child?
Oh, wow. Memorable day on set. That's a great question, and I wish I had a good answer in the chamber for you, because there's so many cool ones. I don't know, my memories are like all-encompassing, and it's hard to pick one standout, because there's different good ones for different reasons. I think just the overall experience, getting to travel and work in so many great artists and so many people.
Great legends.
And even just get to do this. Like, I get to travel and meet people at conventions, and you know, this has been a gift. It's a gift that keeps on giving. It's getting to hang out and do this kind of thing. So.
Well, we're super honored you're here. Thank you so much for not only Pet Cemetery, but absolutely New Nightmare is one of my favorite sequels of the franchise, and you really brought it. Dylan's Nightmare, love it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Can I get a... Been wanting to get you on this ever since I bought it.
That's awesome. I want to remake it, mastered. I still have not played it. I have so many games. It's like, yeah, I played it when it first came out for PS4 and all that, but I have a PS5 sitting at home.
This was actually the first game me and my wife played together. And we did everything right until the end when I got the controller and killed everybody.
I did the demo like you do the horror movie.
Yeah.
Filter.
What was it that got you interested in this project? Was it like the ensemble cast, the story, all of it?
Yeah.
Oh, we can do it.
It's all cool, dude.
Hey guys, I got a real special treat for you. You know him, you love him, and you know he's what got me started. The Tampa J.
All right, it's awesome to be on this channel. It's awesome to meet you, dude.
It's awesome to meet you. Me and my wife have been such good friends. Like, I've already fanboyed out off camera. So it's weird to do it on camera, but I know you moved to Tennessee recently.
Yes.
How's it treating you?
I'm loving it. I think we should have done this sooner, to be honest. That's how much we're loving it. The weather, the mountains over there in East Tennessee, it's just like a dream come true. I'm used to Indiana and Florida.
Right.
You know, it's all flat there. Here it's like
tons of
it's
mountains.
exotic to me. There's tons of stuff to do and cool
tornadoes.
people to meet. Tornadoes, yeah. But I was born in Indiana, so I'm kind of used to what that's like.
Is this the first con you've got to check out?
This is my first Tennessee Horror Con. I was at Fanboy Expo yesterday, which is pretty good in Knoxville.
We've been there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so got any more coming up this year?
Nothing solid. I might do CreepyCon.
CreepyCon in
Yeah,
Knoxville?
I might do that. I think that's the only thing I really know because of haunt season coming up, and I got to schedule all that.
Well,
this is really good, by the way. This is a great convention. I'm surprised of how good it is. Great.
Most of the horror conventions in Tennessee are amazing. You got like Full Moon, you have this one, you have Nashville Celebrity Con. But since you are in the haunts, I'm going to put it on here.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Nashville Nightmare in October. It's the number one haunt in America. Oh. You need to check it out.
Yeah, I'll put that on my list.
Yeah. But guys, thank you. This is a surprise.
Oh, it's an
honor,
honor, dude.
It's an honor to meet you. And we'll see you guys around.
All right.
Scott Connor, and my film is titled Deathwoods. It's a 80s throwback slasher about a bunch of people going in the woods and pretty much getting slaughtered. We have a great story involved in the film, a great cast and crew, and we will be having a premiere probably in the next couple of months somewhere around Middle Tennessee.
There it is, the banner. Y'all got Felicia Rose in there?
We have Felissa Rose, we have Miles Dimitri Baker, guitarist from Ice Nine Kills, and L.C. Hope, who also played in the movie You're Next.
Okay. There you guys go.
And this is our Instagram QR code.
If y'all want to check it out, you go ahead and scan it. There's a little bit of snap.
We do have a new Instagram page. Our original got flagged for something and they removed it, so we lost about 1,500 followers, but we're slowly building back up.
All right. Be sure to check out Deathwoods when it comes released in a couple months.
Here's to Heather Langenkamp, celebrity.
I'll give you a call later. Let's see if you change your mind. Can I help you? I'm charging you by the minute, by the way. $5.99. And you like scary movies? What's your favorite?
Three.
Spared yourself a phone call.
Jason Van. I run Vanntasic Horror Shop. You can see my booth when you come in. I've been doing cosplay for many moons. Some of my credits and stuff, I've made all kinds of stuff for, I make stuff for haunted houses. I've made stuff for short films. I've made, if you guys are familiar with Ice Nine Kills, okay, I make stuff for Ice Nine Kills. If you guys watched the promo video when they were doing the Art's Murder, and Spencer had on the Art the Clown stuff, he had his face done with the Ice Nine Kills logo on his face. The hat, the gloves, and the horn are mine. So that's pretty cool. If you've seen them live lately on this latest tour, they have one song called The Jig Is Up. It's about the movie Saw, and also the Terrifier song. The hacksaw that they use in that is mine, which is really cool. It's really humbling when you see a band that you've liked for years using your props on stage and stuff like that. So that's really humbling when you go see them live and you see your prop in their production. So that's pretty cool. You know, different things here and there that I've done for cosplay. A lot of people I've made cosplay for. A lot of people that come to me with commissions, special costumes and stuff like that, special props and stuff for costumes that I can make. It's really cool seeing people when they have cosplay or they're in cosplay and they're using my props and stuff. You see them walk by, or you see them take and post pictures and stuff like that of my cosplays or stuff that I've made for their cosplays. It's really cool, and it's really cool that I can take something like this and make it and hand it to you, and you're like, this is cool. It adds to my cosplay. So, cosplay tips and tricks that I've done. If you guys are into cosplay, using foam, using all kinds of stuff like that, getting part with hot glue guns, all that kind of stuff, it's all fun. But the cosplay part of it is one of those things when you make a cosplay, you're making it not only to look good and have people appreciate your cosplay, but as a cosplayer, you want to do something that makes you feel good. And I don't know if you guys ever done cosplay? So you've ever been cosplay? One really cool thing about cosplay is when you put on something, you take on that persona. It's like an acting movie. Like David Howard Thornton does dress up as Art the Clown. He turns into Art the Clown. So I've done cosplays as Batman, all kinds of different stuff. And it's weird when your friends say something to you like, do you realize that you walk different or act different when you're different cosplays? It's because you're taking on the persona of that cosplay. So if you, so when I do Batman, and you put on Batman, and you put on that cowl, you want to immediately say, I'm Batman, and stuff like that. And you walk around, and you walk different. As Art the Clown, the toughest part of being Art the Clown is shutting this up. I talk a lot, and I will talk about y'all. I will talk to anybody all day long, but when I do Art the Clown, I have to be quiet, which is really weird for me, but that's okay. It gives me a break sometimes. So doing cosplay and everything is a lot of fun. It's a really good community. There's a lot of people in the cosplay community that will support you no matter what you do. So even if your cosplay is not 100%, or when some people do cosplay, they want to be movie accurate. So if you can do movie accurate, very cool. That's awesome. But if not, you're going to do it the best you can. As long as you feel good about it and you made it, that's really cool because you can be like, I made this. There's a lot of people that buy cosplays because they can't make stuff, or there's stuff that's really elaborate, and it's fantastic. And it's okay if you buy stuff, and that's awesome because everybody gets to appreciate something that you can afford to buy and be in a cosplay that's phenomenal. If it's something like Iron Man, that just looks like it walked up the movie set, and it's a full 3D printed Iron Man that probably took somebody 6-8 months to make, that's cool because somebody's going to appreciate that and love the fact that you dressed up as Iron Man. So anytime you do cosplay, go for it. Don't ever think that you can't do it or you might not look that good. Go for it because you're going to be like, man, this is cool. And if you start on a cosplay and it doesn't seem like it's going too well or looking well, reach out to people. Reach out to other people in the cosplay community. Like, hey, how can I do this? How can you help me do this? How can I make this? What should I use? And even if the first cosplay that you make is not the most elaborate, because I can go back many, many years ago and look at some of my stuff and be like, I wore that, but it was cool at the time. But they'll evolve. Like if you've been to my booth, you see my Art the Clown cosplay and the mannequin. That was one of my mannequins. Well, that was one of my cosplays from 2018, and that's evolved because anytime you do anything, you add to it. It seems like every convention you go to, whether the last one you were at, you might have tore it. You might have tore a scene. You might have tore. No telling what. Anytime you use hot glue and you leave it in the car and it's outside, unfortunately, it's one of those things where you might go back out there and where you hot glued something together, it's come apart. Because it's glue, it'll melt. So that's just one of the things you have to be careful with. But you learn how to fix something and make it better and make it grow into something cooler. Like I said, you might start out with something, you might go to the thrift store and you might want to do Leatherface. Go to the thrift store and find some old pants, an old shirt, a tie, different kind of stuff, and you make a Leatherface cosplay. And you evolve continually like that. So cosplay is a lot of fun. It's different aspects of everything and making cool stuff like that. But I know you guys are probably here to see blood. That's what a lot of people want to see. So, and again, if you have any questions about anything throughout this, just let me know. But as in a horror prop, horror community, you like blood. The more blood, the better. You go see movies, whether it's a little bit of blood or it's Evil Dead when they're spraying gallons of blood everywhere. It seems like the more blood, the better sometimes. So with this, it's called Perma Blood. It's in my booth, whatever, but it's phenomenal stuff. It's a paint. It is not a water-based liquid like you might find at Walmart or Spirit Halloween or something like that. You pour it on it, it'll like run down you, or it won't stick to your prop or anything. This is a urethane base, and it's a paint. It is straight up a paint. And it's like any other paint, when it gets on you, it will stay on you. This will probably be on there for a day or two. Depends on how much I pick at it, it comes off. When you put it on a prop, it's on there. I've never tried to take it off with any kind of solvent. I haven't tried. But once it's on something like this, that's completely dry, and that's exactly what it looks like. So, and that's on metal. If you put it on material, same thing. You can wash it over and over. It might dull out a little bit. I mean, because I have it on my pants and my shoes and my clothes, it might dull out a little bit. But that's the cool thing about it. When I said before, taking your cosplay and making it evolve. Because if you go to a convention and it's hot outside, you sweat your cosplay, and you wash it, and it dulls out a little bit, guess what? You get to add more blood and make it blood urine. And that's a cool thing too, because it seems like sometimes when I do some cosplays, whether it's Art the Clown or anything else, it seems like minimal blood is cool, but when you start to add more blood, it gets like, holy crap, that guy's like covered in blood. It's really cool. And some people are like, when they come up to you, they're like, I don't want to touch you or get a picture with you because they think it's wet, but it's not. It's just like that. Whether you use perma blood or use any other type of blood, just be crazy with it and be fun with it and have a lot of fun applying it to whatever. But mainly on props and stuff like this, you want to use it almost like you're painting and using a light source. So with something like this, you know that when it gets used, it's a stabbing motion. So the blood, if it goes in just a little bit like that, you know you're stabbing into something, so you know you can get blood kind of like that on it. Real life, that's not how it works. You know, you got to think movie magic. Because a lot of times on props like this in the movies, depends on how they take sets or whatever, they'll have certain different parts of the knife. They will have a little bit of the knife, a little bit less of the knife, and then a handle. So there's sometimes where in movie magic where they're stabbing somebody and they break away or something like that, and you might see the knife stab in like that. That's just that much of the knife. The next scene, it might be that much of the knife. And then the third scene or whatever, you just see the handle in there. They're just like, stabbing you. But honestly, it's just a handle. Movie magic. But again, it depends on what you have as a prop. It depends on where it's going. If it's a chopping motion, like a cleaver or an axe, you know it's coming down like that. So the blood's going to probably splatter up like this. So again, like a light source. You want to kind of like visualize what prop you're using, or on your cosplay or something like that, where you're having that splatter or blood on that suit. Is it a stab? Is it a stab wound? Okay, so you know a stab wound, if you stab yourself like that, it's immediately not going to start bleeding, but you know if you want that effect on your cosplay, you'll have a tear in your cosplay and go around a little bit. But then you can take the blood like this, and I usually use a ketchup bottle like this, and what you can do is put a little bit on there and let it do like that. And as you watch, gravity will pull it down. So if you have a stab wound that's like that and they stab into it, thinking, okay, after that knife's been in there or that knife's pulled out, you will have blood running down just like that. And so you can use it like that and let gravity pull it down. If it's a slashing motion, where they're just coming across like that, you know that you want to have stuff like that. Depends on where it's on. You know, if it's on your shirt or it's on your sleeve or something like that, or even if you want to use it on your arms, which I do. So, but you know, you want to take like the motion of how it's cut across or cut across here, and kind of like emulating that. So before you apply something like that to your cosplay, just kind of look at it. Okay, what am I going for? What's the look I'm going for? Is it a big slash? Is it a really thin knife that's going to cut you like that? You don't want to have a giant hole in your cosplay with a big slash on like that. So what you do is just kind of emulate the way it's going to look, and then kind of go back. If that's where you want a slash right there, just kind of look at it like that. Okay, that's where I want it. And you go back and put it on there. And a lot of stuff like this, when you're doing it, it's really easy to do it and not mess up. So never think that you're like, oh, I messed up. You know, just mess with it. Because again, it's movie magic. Cosplay is movie magic. Because like I said, in a movie, you know, there might not be hardly any blood on there. In real life, there might not be. I've gotten cuts from making props and doing whatever. I have a background in shooting. So metal will cut you. And there's not always when you cut into your flesh, then it bleeds. If it's a really thin, sharp cut, depends on if it doesn't hit an artery or anything like that. You cut into your flesh, sometimes it doesn't bleed a lot. And those are the ones that are really bad, actually. But, so when you're doing stuff like that, so whether it's a knife or a chopping motion or even a gunshot, so you think a gunshot, somebody gets shot right here, the entry wound is not a big splatter, it's the exit wound that you have to worry about. So if you get shot here, you go to picture this going to come out of your shoulder blade. That's where you want the bigger effect going like that. Now, if you want to, again, if it's just a bullet wound and you make a little spot right there, kind of frayed around the edge, and do like that right there. So you can tell, okay, I've been shot. That's cool. And different things. Just, you know, just look at what you're using, what tool you're using, and kind of just emulate what you think it might look like. And so, like I said again, and play with it and just make it look cool. So a lot of times I use a straw. You've probably seen people where they take toothbrushes and they dip it in the paint or something like that, and do like that. The only reason I don't use that is because when you're doing stuff like that, this is really thick. And some types of blood and stuff like that are really thick. And so what they'll do is it'll get down into the bristles. And when you do like that, it won't really give you the effect you want because it's really thick. Thinner stuff will, and that'll be really cool. But my thing is I use a straw. And the reason I use a straw is because the effects you get, if you guys want to come up here, I don't want to sit back there, I'm going to try to make the effects right here. But yeah, the freaks are, that's cool. But basically what I do is I'll dip the straw into the perma blood or the blood effect like that. And basically what you do is when you do it, it's literally just gotta, and it's simple. If you want to do more and you want to make it look bloodier, and when you want to have a lot more blood splatter like that, like I said, just kind of start basic. And if that's all you want, you just want a little bit. Depends on how big of a prop you're working on. If you're not working on a very big prop, and it's a small knife or something like that, you don't want it covered in blood because it kind of does away a little bit with the effect of it. So when you have a little bit like that, you can just start like that. Or if you want more, dip it down in there and just go like this and suck a little bit in there. Then you get stuff like that. And then see, that's as simple as that is, and that looks like something really cool. Then you can also take the straw like this and fling it. So then, all the blood that's on the straw and the straw, you're getting the effect right there of that slinging motion. So, to continue on that effect, when you have the blood on the straw like this, you can go around the edges. Like a lot of times, I will go along the edge of the knife. So if you look at this one, it's got the effect on the edge of the knife. But you've got all that right there on that straw. You go along the edge of something like that and just roll the straw, and you get that a little bit right there. So the one thing cool about that is the more you use that particular straw, it will start to cake up all on the straw like that. So when you're rolling on different things, it leaves a really unnatural look, like a paint roller. It'll leave like a really unnatural look, which you want because there's nothing natural about the way the blood flows in different ways. If it's on material, it'll run a different way. Or gravity, if they're laying on their side, it'll go that way. But if you're ever doing props, and now this is a little tip when you want to do it, because I've learned the hard way sometimes. If you're wanting to do these lines like this and let gravity pull it down, always kind of make sure that if you're going to do that on a prop, that you have something to stand it up in beforehand. I use a vise, and I'll clamp it in there, and I'll bloody it up, and then I'll set it in the vise, because you want the gravity to pull in whatever direction you're pulling it in. I've made the mistake before and didn't clamp it down in the vise enough, and it kind of tilted. So I had blood running down at a weird angle, but I just made it work. So again, even if you have, like like on knife props like this, what I'll do is I'll just take a cardboard box and put a hole in it and just slide it down into the blade. It just sits in there like that. And so you can get your gravity and stuff like that rolling down the edge of the blade. Or depending on what it is. But again, stuff like this is really easy to do. And you see out here where it's already started to pull down with gravity. And like I said, so if you've got a prop, if you've got a cosplay, hang it up. Get you just a hanger, like you're going to hang up at the closet. Go outside, or if you want to get blood all over your shop or garage or whatever like mine, just hang it up and put stuff on it and make it bloody like that. And then just leave it alone. Just walk away from it and let gravity pull it down and all kinds of stuff like that. Another really cool tip is when you're doing anything material-wise. A lot of times what I'll do is you see two people, they'll get like a sponge and they'll want to dab on stuff to make a look with a sponge. But again, the sponge is kind of like the toothbrush. You don't want to absorb it into it and wasting it and stuff like that. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take plastic bags, like a Walmart bag, and just get a bunch of them and put them into a ball and put them into another one. And then you actually kind of like get a little bit of perma blood on there. And like if you're making a cosplay like this, you just kind of dab it on there like that. And you can kind of get different effects. So if you start doing it like that, you can kind of get different effects. If you want to drag it down, make it look like something's drugged down a little bit, and then kind of go back over the top of it so you don't see any lines and things and stuff like that in it. You just kind of go over it and make it look really cool and get creative. And like I said, something like that was just really simple, and just doing it like that. And just again, just depends on how big the prop is, your cosplay or anything like that you do it on. Halloween props or anything crazy like that, you can just go and add to it like that, and it just adds really cool effects. And it just, that's where you get kind of creative and you just play with it and make really cool effects like that. And don't do it on the carpet. But it's a lot of fun to play with. So again, whether you use the purple blood or any type of other blood effects like that and stuff like that, or even if you use them paint, like sometimes if you want to do like Halloween props outside and stuff like that, and you want to use paint to make it look like it's weathered and destroyed and distraught like that, just play with it and look at stuff before you go do something to like what does real weathering look like on a prop, or anything like weathering on clothes. Like a lot of times when I do specific cosplays, a lot of times my base coat will be spray painted because it's easy. You take the prop outside, if it's clothing, and just spray paint parts that you want to make look distressed and weathered, and that's your base coat. Go in there with a black or a brown or something like that to kind of get the weathering look, and then go back over it with. If you're using any type of clothing or whatever, you can go back over it with like sandpaper and all kinds of different stuff to kind of like give it that weather look. But again, it's projection on how you want to make it look. And if you want to make it look in a different way, if you want to make it look like it's really weathered, like it's been outside forever, or if you've been going around killing people for months. It just depends on how you want it to look. So, any questions or anything yet so far? Okay, cool. But like I said, playing with this kind of stuff, it's a lot of fun. And if you ever have any questions about it and how you think that you're going to apply something, just test something. If you're going to use black paint on something and spray paint or anything, a black paint or brown paint or anything like that, and you're worried about how it's going to look on something, just try it on something else. Like if you like you're doing on a cosplay and it's a piece of a shirt, just maybe find a spot in the back that you're not going to really see in the front as much or whatever, and just do test spots. Find test spots if you want to make test spots. If you want to, if it's a shirt and you want to cut it up, get scissors and cut it up. That's cool. And then take it, and what I usually do is I'll take a piece of material and rub it together and start getting the frayed look to where it's been worn and nasty. Because if somebody gets their cut and they cut their shirt or something like that, it's not going to be a clean and look all nice. So you get it and just kind of start rubbing it together like that and just give it that look to where it's worn and distressed. And if you want to go around the edges of it and paint it, make it look different, that's cool too. You can do that. It's really easy to do. It's just doing it. Trying it out and making it look different. You know, and if you go to a thrift store and you buy a $3 shirt and you don't like the way it's looking, guess what? Just throw it in the trash. Go buy another $3 shirt and try it again. And again, that's the evolution of your cosplay will grow because you'll learn to do little things like that to make it look different. And with props, you know, if you didn't like the way you put it on there, as long as it's not dry, wipe it off. A lot of times with my props and everything that I use for this cosplay, I'll add more to it. So it'll get more caked and have more on it. And by the time, like if you see me here in cosplay tomorrow, I have one of my knives that I use as Art the Clown. It's so caked up and covered up in blood that's, you know, it almost looks really thick. So, and if you don't like the way something looks like that and you want to add to it, let it dry. And then go back over it again. Because like I said, if you dip the straw down into it, basically just almost just roll it on there and making it look different, making it look like, okay, I've stuck that in somebody, and we want to get it to where, okay, and we don't want to tap it or roll it or whatever, and then it gets to a certain point, you're like, all right, cool, and then you kind of go there. And it just adds, it just, you know, a natural look to it. It's not, there's no rhyme or reason about how it looks now, but it looks like somebody got stabbed with that knife. You know, even from over there, it looks like that stab has been rusted or whatever part of that body. So it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. A lot of fun to play with, even if it's paint. Again, watering down a regular paint is really easy to do. Just take you however you want to do it, like with distressing and weathering stuff. Water your stuff down. You don't have to use just straight black paint, brown paint, or whatever color paint. If you want to take it and dip it in some water and water it down and give it that distressed look, that's really easy to do too. Don't water this down though, because then it gets runny and nasty and it doesn't mix too well. But if you have any other types of paint or blood, most of the time a lot of them are thin, so you don't have to water it down. You get different looks and everything. But always test stuff like that because if you, sometimes different bloods will dry differently. They might dry sooner, they might dry quicker. So it just kind of depends. You guys ever made your own blood? Movie blood? Movie blood depends on what kind of movie you're making. If you want to make it and have fun with it, get Karo syrup and red food color and mix it together until you get your consistency of how you like it looking. You might have to add a little bit of drops of blue in it just to kind of give it a little bit of darker look. But again, if you're making a movie or if you want to do something really cool for Halloween and you want to make something look gory and nasty, you can go to the store, buy Karo syrup and red food coloring, make blood, and like so if you have a tombstone, and you want to make the tombstone look all bloody, take it and pour it all over that. The only thing I can say is because it is Karo syrup and it's outside, you're probably going to get ants and flies and stuff like that. But it's outside, no big deal. That might add to the effect of it. If you ever make Karo syrup and apply it to yourself, it looks great, but it's not fun when it starts to dry. Because it's Karo syrup and it's basically like being waxed. Yeah, you guys will know what I mean when I say getting waxed. And it's basically because one time we did it and it was for charity. Everybody brought like cans of soup and all kinds of stuff. And we did like about a mile walk around this particular square. But we made Karo syrup blood and literally doused ourselves in it. Well, by the time we got done, as a guy having facial hair, I went to go turn and it literally like pulled. Felt like I was being waxed. So it was literally like, that was not good. But it's because it dried. No big deal. But it's really cool when we've made movies and different things like that. I've made a movie one time and we filled pretty much like a pitcher like you would use for tea and made it full of blood. And we had effect where like literally just was like, and threw it all over the wall because it was basically a scene where somebody got their head chopped off. And the ball, of course you cut at that one point and then at the other point when you cut, you slash it back, it's all over the wall. But that's fun to make too. It's if you ever want to do that, make fun. Now a little quick trip or quick tip, it's really funny. You guys ever seen the movie Psycho? The original Psycho, black and white? You know what kind of blood they used in that when you see it going down the drain and everything? It's chocolate syrup. You ever do black and white film? You want to make something really cool, and it is black and white. Use chocolate syrup because you don't have to worry about the tint of the red or the tint of something like that. And so a couple of times when we've gone to make movies, you kind of almost try to figure out what format they're filming it in to see what color you need to have it in. Because we were going to go make a film one time, I was like, that'd be really cool if we could make it in black and white. And then I could just go get chocolate syrup. And I'm like, what do you need chocolate syrup for? Blood. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, because you got black and white or sepia or whatever. You don't have to worry about the red tone and stuff like that or how it looks different. So yeah, in Psycho, when you see the blood going down the drain and everything, that's chocolate syrup. So, and it still has the same consistency. It's a real thick. It doesn't thin out too bad. So that was pretty cool. But that's pretty much it. I don't have like an hour of stuff to talk about, but you guys have any questions or anything, or want to go? Yes.
So, who or what inspired you to get into cosplay and prop making?
Okay, good one. So I got into, let's start with just horror. I got into horror when I was a kid. I was taken to go see some really awesome movies in the movie theater and just fell in love with horror. First one I ever saw was The Changeling, 1980. What a horror movie. It's still scary. If you've ever seen it, it was scary. It's a ghost movie. It's one of those movies, it's really cool. The second one I saw that really got me into really cool stuff was the original Zombie. So it's a zombie movie. The opening scenes are a zombie attacking a shark, and stuff like that. So that was, wow, this is really cool. And as in growing up, you go start to see stuff like, American Werewolf in London, where, he's transforming into a werewolf and you're seeing stuff like that. It's like, man, this is really cool. So, but getting into cosplay, you go to conventions. And a lot of times I tell people sometimes when you go to conventions like this, sometimes if you are not in cosplay, you're the outcast. Because there's so many people, not necessarily at this one, but there's some conventions we go to that I would almost say that 3/4 of the convention is cosplay. Dragon Con, for instance, in Atlanta. I've been going there for 20 years. I love it. It's amazing. But if you go to Dragon Con and you're not in cosplay, you are out of place. And I tell a lot of people that. And then a lot of people get down there that don't believe me and get down there and go, ooh, I could wear this next year. I can work on this next year. Oh, I should have worn this or worn that. Because it's a community where there's so many cosplays at that one. And it's everything from anime to DC to Marvel to horror to everything. You will see the most obscure, awesome cosplays in the world. Whether it's something simple or, like I said earlier, a full Iron Man suit that just walked up a movie set. So when I started getting into prop building, it was basically the very first time that I ever went to go meet Bruce Campbell. I had already made a chainsaw hand, but the convention I went to wouldn't let me make chainsaw hand or bring that particular kind of chainsaw hand because it was metal. It was a real chainsaw. So I was like, well, I can't be Bruce Campbell and not have a chainsaw hand to bring, so I had to make one out of EVA foam so I could get in there and be cosplay safe, which was fantastic, worked out great, it was awesome. And then I had a buddy that said, hey, I want one of those. Evil Dead fan. It's like, all right, cool. Then he was like, hey, my kids want one. All right, cool. So we went to another convention, and literally, him and his 2 children had chainsaw hands. Now, when I make them for kids, which I quite often do, I always just see if they want a different color. And if they do, that's cool. His daughter had one that was purple. So I was like, all right, cool. My daughter, when she was younger, cosplayed Elsa / Evil Dead. We took her old Elsa dress, cut a sleeve out of it, made it all bloody and nasty, and I made her a pink and purple Frozen chainsaw hand. She loved it. It was awesome because I don't know if you guys ever done mashups, or you guys know what mashups are. Mashups in cosplay are when you take something like this and turn it into that. And you can tell that it looks really cool. So here's an example. One year at Dragon Con, I used to be in the Deadpool group in the parade. So we all dressed up as Deadpool, did different versions of Deadpool, which in the Deadpool universe, you can make a Deadpool out of anything. Well, that year, I did Evil Deadpool. So I was Deadpool with a chainsaw hand. So I had a chainsaw hand that was black and red, and I had my Deadpool mask on, but I had a blue shirt on that was all torn and shredded and everything, so I was Deadpool. And it was a lot of fun because it was a mashup. So that was, that was really cool. So anytime you do stuff like that, just make it fun. But continuing with that, so a buddy of mine had an Etsy shop already, He's like, why don't you sell these on Etsy with a lot of your other stuff that you're making? I was like, there's nobody can buy these. Yeah. Coincidentally, 2 days ago, I sold my number 216th chainsaw hand that I've sold all around the world, which is really cool. To see people take something I made and they know they're going to go meet somebody from the Evil Dead universe, Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, anybody. And they send me pictures of them standing there in a photo op with their chainsaw hand. And Bruce Campbell, well, she won't wear one. I've tried to get him to wear mine. I was like, you want to wear this? He's like, no. Not being rude about it, but he's just like, he kind of kids around. He's like, I wore those in a movie. I know what happens when you wear those. But Bruce Campbell's a great guy. So I'd already been making props for different people in cosplay. And I started taking them to conventions because people were like, hey, can you just bring this to me? Absolutely. So I remember one year at Days of the Dead in Atlanta, I had both the beds in my room were covered in props. And I was like texting people saying, hey, this is what room number I'm in. I'm here from this hour to this hour. Come pick up your stuff. And then finally somebody said, why don't you start vending? I was like, I don't know anything about it. And then so I started getting into that, so that's how I started vending. But how I got into making props is because not everybody has, I don't want to say skills, because everybody has the skills to do it. It's just time, wanting to do it, then know how to do it. So if you've got somebody like me that can make something cool for you, absolutely I'm going to make it for you. You know, I can make custom stuff, I can make different stuff. It depends on how you want it. I can make it bloody, I can make it different, I can make it however you want it. So that's how I got into just building props, because people were wanting different things and different stuff. So we have a great group of people that live in Atlanta that build all kinds of different stuff. From my buddy that built the remote control Art the Clown tricycle, that I wouldn't even know where to begin on that. But Josh, our buddy, made that like no big deal. You know, we've got everybody that has different specialties and different types of different things that they make that we all reach out to and say, hey, how do you make this? How do I make that? And then every time somebody runs out of blood, they're like, hey, Jason, I need some more blood. So making stuff for different people has been, a lot of it. And it started out just, me making something for you because you're going to be a pizza later, something like that. It's like I'm humble about it. If I can make something for you and make that smile on your face when you walk around here in cosplay, that's the world to me. That's really super cool that I can take something like this, hand it to you, and make your day and walk around and take pictures and stuff like that. So again, just getting into that and just making stuff like that, and it just grew. So, but, again, the horror community, and making all kinds of cool stuff like this. I mean, like I said, I've done Batman and all kinds of other different stuff. That's a lot of fun too. But it seems like the horror community is really one of those communities too that just like, no matter what you are, because people always ask a lot of times, with me cosplaying art since like the beginning, how do I feel about the fact that I can come to conventions now and see 3, 4, 5 different arts? I'm cool with it. Those guys are happy. Their guys having fun. And they're having a blast. So I kid around about it now, and I tell people, it's like, what you get when you have more than one art? It's called a gallery. So, when you get a bunch of art together, it's a gallery. But, I still have fun because everybody's got their different versions of it. Like, you got all the 9 million different types of Jason Voorhees, or Michael Myers, or Freddy Krueger's, or anything like that. But, again, if that makes you happy to be able to put that cosplay on and become Freddy Krueger, or become Michael Myers, or do something like that, that's cool. I'm not going to bag on you and say, yours looks like crap, yours looks awesome, whatever. You just let them have fun. Because there's sometimes, and you can kind of tell sometimes people when they don't think theirs is really good, but it doesn't matter. Because if it's good to you and you like it, that's cool. Don't compare yours to mine or somebody else's that might not look as good. Because believe me, I still do that. There are some times where I see stuff, I'm like, holy man, that's amazing. And it's like, and it just makes you strive to make yours better, or look at stuff like that, or you sit there and talk to people, and they're like, well, do this, try that, and it makes different things, it makes it better. Because, again, not everybody can go out and spend thousands of dollars on custom stuff, or anything like that, and if you can, that's amazing, that's great. But when you have to make it yourself, it's one of those things, too, that when you make it yourself, and you sit here at a table cutting foam with a razor knife and cut yourself and you're like, oh crap, that hurt. Or if you guys ever play the hot glue? Hot glue is hot glue. It's hot. Trust me, I just got through with a really nasty blister on my finger when I was making something. And it's, you think that you would learn to not touch it because it's hot. But you still do. It oozes out and stuff, and it's awful. But, again, it's all having fun. Yeah. Any questions? No? You're ready for a nap, so are you. Yeah, that's all good. So I've been up since But if there's no more questions, again, stop by the booth if you want to talk about anything else or anything. Like I said, Vanntasic Horror Shop on Instagram. I'm on Etsy, TikTok. I'm watching make silly videos on TikTok. And any more questions, I guess we'll call it. Yep. And if you guys want to check out a really awesome YouTube page, these two guys right here have a great page, and I'll let you guys tell them what it is.
Scratch&Slash Media.
Yeah.
So here tomorrow we have a panel.
And they have a panel tomorrow. Yep.
It's called Horror Content Creators.
Yep. These guys are amazing. So if you ever see them walking around, they will probably be talking to celebrities, doing interviews with them. So they got crazy stories, And another really cool thing about being in this, and we talked about it last time, it's really crazy. Don't ever think that you're not as cool as you think that you are, because what's really weird is we can sit around and talk. These guys interview celebrities like it's no big deal. They talk to celebrities and have fun and all that. And I'll talk to them too. If you ever see a celebrity, go talk to them. Don't think that you can't. You don't have to give them money. That's cool if you do, if you want pictures and autographs. But don't think that you can't walk up to anybody that's here and walk up and be like, hey, how you doing? It's good to see you. Man, I love your work. That's awesome. And walk away. If they want to continue conversation, that's cool. But what's really cool is when you can go back home this weekend. Have you guys met any celebrities this weekend? Not yet. Okay. You met any celebrities this weekend? Who'd you meet?
I met Heather Langenkamp.
Okay, cool.
And Heather myself.
How are they?
They were great.
Okay, cool. So this weekend or next week, you can go back to wherever you're at. Like, I hung out with Heather Langenkamp this weekend. She was cool. She was awesome. And you're like, I hung out with her. Oh my God. And it's weird. So we were talking, and it's really cool how he brought it up, and I have experiences with it too, and I'm sure all of us do. You sit there and talk to people that don't involve themselves with this or come to this and enjoy and experience this. You're like, oh, I'm at the Lane Camp this weekend. Not throwing it out there like I'm cooler than you, but when people like that told him, you ever hear what comes out of your mouth sometimes? When you're talking about celebrities, like it's no big deal. Like we get to hang out with them. And people that are envious, not envious, but people that are involved with it, we go, you got to meet who? Holy crap, that's awesome. From these guys meeting whoever they meet, from me knowing all the people that I meet, and even being in a booth, celebrities will come by and they're like, hey Jason, what's up? I'm like, hey man, how you doing? Talk to them just like I'm talking to you guys right now, and it makes a world of difference. And what's really cool is if you don't talk to them about what movie they're hearing, that's a little tip that's really cool. If you talk to them about something else, if you know you're going to meet them, find out about them. Find out about what their dog's name is or crazy stuff like that. Do like almost a research. And what's really cool is because Kane Hodder, he has a dog. You guys know who Kane Hodder is? Who's Jason Voorhees? He has a dog named Hazel. My daughter's name is Hazel. So every time I see him, I say, hey, how's Hazel? I don't know, how's Hazel? So it's one of those things, and I guarantee you, when you talk to those celebrities like that, and you talk to them just like I'm talking to you guys, they'll remember you. They'll talk to you, and you'll be like, yeah, I know him. But it's really cool when you got to realize they're just people also. They're doing cosplay also. They're just getting paid for it. We're not. So when you're doing cosplay and you walk up to them and you're dressed as their character, most of the time they're really humble about it. Because they're like, holy crap, I made this movie that nobody ever thought two things about. And now your cosplay is me. That's so cool. So again, don't think that when you meet these people, that they're just humans just like us. They have to go home, and wash dishes, We have to go home to regular jobs and stuff like that. When we're here, it's cool. I get to splash blood on stuff and talking to you guys, awesome people and everything. Yeah, when I go home, I got to go back to cleaning dishes and stuff like that. But still, it's one of those things when you're here, have a blast. when you're in cosplay, have a blast. Make the best of it. Have fun. Meet awesome people and talk to awesome people. And then you got to have dinner with them and you eat fried livers and stuff like that, like we do and stuff like that, and whatever we do. But again, you meet awesome people and you stay in touch with them, and then you might see them next year at another convention, or you might see them at the next convention. So again, a lot of this stuff is just having fun with it. Whether it's actually making a prop and doing something cool, building something, or just coming here and having fun. Just make the best of it and have fun. Thank you guys. So again, if you want to stop by the booth and you have some questions or anything, but if not, have a good rest of your night. And if you're here tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow. So thank you guys.